All right, friends. So here we are in the third round. So the midway points for Hera and for Barles here in Group C. And as it stands, both of these players have 4 wins. Hera won his first round 3-0, and then he lost his second round versus freaking Andy 2-1. And so some questions over Hera of, okay, is this guy going to win the group like he did last time? Because he had 14 wins, 1 loss in the group stage last time before eventually making it all the way to the finals and getting second place to only Viper. Hera's gone for the Malians. This is a map that he has looked really good on. He's actually played this map, I think once as a home map and once as a neutral map, so the starting game in his first 2 rounds. So I'm a little surprised that Barles chose to let this map be the neutral map because it is decided by a series of bans and what map is left over. And you would think with the thought process being, Hera probably hasn't practiced as much as me, you wouldn't want to play a map that Hera has won in 2 consecutive weeks and feels pretty comfortable on. But it's very likely Barles feels comfortable as well and maybe saw something with Hera's approach that he thinks he could pressure. Hera's big approach on it is utilize the water, and I think it's like textbook. So many players have been skipping water, and even if castles are coming up in the middle area where there's tons of gold and stone, they're losing games. You need to have food eco, you need to have wood eco, as well as having the middle area. Japanese Malians, both really good with the flexible water approach, so I think we could see a bunch of Navy. And from there, I guess we'll see. But as a reminder, 2 tiles of gold, 2 tiles of stone for each player at their base. And then the middle is always visible to them. So even running units through the middle would be visible. And that's about it. Now, on to Barles. Like, Hera, obviously, expectations of probably winning the group, moving on to the playoffs at the very least, and doing very well. Barles he's been in plat ever since we started this format. And he's been in 4th place every single time. And it's gone down to the final week. Like last time, he needed to win versus Sito. It was win or go home, basically. He won 2-1 versus Sito. It was epic because it was 1-1. Final game in the play all 3 determined who went 4th and who went 5th. And he relegated Sito. And that's kind of been where he's been. But honestly, I think Barles has played. I know it's been a bit and the maps were different, but I think Barles has actually looked better than he did in Season 2. He looked great. Like, versus Ganji, he was playing insane Age of Empires. Then, of course, he lost to Ganji. So it's just so wild. He lost 2-1 to Ganji. But still able to get a 3-0 against Lan, who right now is 0-6. We'll still see if Lan can save himself, or at the very least spoil the parade for other players. Because after the first 2 weeks, if someone's been 3-0'd, it's like if that person doesn't get 0-3 or 3-0'd again, they are taking wins away from someone else in that race for other positions. We saw that in gold this season, for example, when Stark was 0-9. And then in his final round, he got a win versus Kingston, which kind of made a big difference for Kingston in gold there. So, all right, so Japanese fish are tanky, right? Now, Hera has already scouted this area, and he is going to know that there's... Actually, no, he hasn't scouted it yet. My bad. He's going to see the villager. Now, it won't attack it. The villager's loomed. Barles would be fine. Barles had scouted where Hera has docked, and what Hera likes to do is he just likes to full wall, play defensive, and then, add fishing ships where he can. We don't have a barracks yet for Barles. We do have 1 villager headed to gold, which indicates that he's going to spend that in some way. And so with no barracks right now, you would think that could be for some ships. And Hera making a mad dash over here, probably for a lumber camp. He's gone up a little bit later than his opponent here. But, I would say slightly better map gen for Hera, at least in terms of the stone and the gold here, because it's not... I mean, the hills actually could be really brutal for him. But, this gold and stone seems a bit safer than this position. Barles adding the barracks now. Hera going to scout that now, so this should tell Hera that something could be coming as a follow-up. Makes me feel like this could be archers, but I honestly wouldn't mind scouts in combination with Navy. Actually, Hera's villager there, trying to build a house. Barles attacking it, but then realizing that maybe he shouldn't waste HP if it's so close to the TC. So scout opening for Barles, and this villager, guys, is making a run for it right now. And he's going to head to the north, I assume, so he can get into a position to kill Hera's fish. It's a smart tactic, and it's a tactic that I think we're going to see more of come later stages of this season. The scout will just see Hera's got the barracks up. This is where I was critical of Hera in the past, is his openings. He prefers to wall first, but no one's really... The problem is you can't really punish him on water early because it takes so long to get there with your ships. This thought process from Barles is to be closer to Hera, so it's awkward for Hera to do what he did last time and just expand to a bunch of docks and fishing ships. Obviously, Hera will know if I'm walled, the scouts won't accomplish too much, but I don't think it hurts necessarily to have the scouts out there if you're Barles. It will be frustrating for him, though, to just see Hera's completely walled. Pay attention to Hera's fishing ship count and navy count, because I think that he's going to try and add fish here. It honestly feels like very similar to what he did in those other games, and what I said at the start of the cast was it could be seen as weird that Barles has chose to go for this map against Hera, because Hera looked very comfortable. But is Hera going to play the same way every single time? Because if that's going to be the case, Barles might send some opportunity. Now, fires are going to meet over here. I'm assuming both players have patrolled. But again, both players coming in with 4 wins after 2 rounds. Winner of this, good opportunity. Barles, you've got a patrol there. I don't know how... There's never a patrol on that fire ship. Now suddenly he's got to pull all the way back home, which is a little frustrating for him. Adding another fishing ship too, so he will need repairs. But he's doing okay. Now he's going to start to work in some fires. He's also made a transport ship here. Whoa, this is sneaky stuff from Barles. Hera's adding a fire galley and a fishing ship here. He's adding more fishing ships here. Hera obviously will not take damage from the scouts. In his mind, his spears are out and about. Hera's not going to expect a transport ship. But here, Barles runs directly into Hera's dock. Now Barles needs to repair this ship because he'll lose that fight. Makes the transport idea a little bit awkward, and Barles is housed right now. So there's a lot of stuff going on. This ship still needs to be saved. Barles building up towards Castle Age, though. And has 6 fishing ships of his own. Also killed Hera's scouts, and now Hera's in the dark. Like, listen, this is just... It's adapt from Hera, right? But I don't think it's necessarily been the cleanest, strongest opening, the type of opening that you think about when you associate yourself with Hera's play. He's selling all of his stone here. He's going to try and click up to Castle Age with a bit of market abuse. For a player who likes to boom and drop the second town centers. Well, definitely a little uncommon. Barles dropping the market as well. And Barles just actually needed a little bit more gold here. He'll probably just sell some food. But yeah, KD right now is just 1-0. Transport ship idea was abandoned. It was ambitious, but ends up being abandoned at the end of the day. Kind of a weird spot to be in some ways if you're Barles, but I think if you repair this, he's distracted right now. If he can save this ship, block with the fishing ship. Oh, he blocked himself. Then maybe he could contest Hera. But now, yeah, now Hera kind of gets what he wants. And he could walk right past there. But, I mean, Hera's got to be paranoid about that. Easy he could run into a demo or something. And now Hera here, unable to really do a ton of damage. Or so it seems, but he's got these fires looping through to meet up with this fire, possibly. Notice that we do not have any stone being mined right now from Barles, and both players have the same fishing ship count. I also love how Barles is committing to scouts. Hera's going stables, though, and I think Hera will be thinking of knights and camels, which could be great against the scouts. Barles actually using these fishing ships to block the fire. He should know, though, that Hera has passed through. And, you know, it does give him time, though, to be able to adapt. I think the first thing you need to click for both players is the War Galley upgrade here. Upgrade these ships. A transport ship again? Dude, that is so risky, but I appreciate it. You know your opponent's got a dock over here. Like, there's no world in which this works, right? I mean, first off, you can only fit 5 in there, okay? All right, so one guy's going to get left behind, and you're just going to row right past Hera. Okay, Hera sees it. These scouts are going to die. Okay, well, I mean, go for it, Barles. I guess, in worst case, if you're about to lose your ship, you can then just hop out on the shoreline. You just got to hug the shoreline. There's no way. Hera will block this. There's no way. Dude, don't lose those scouts. Oh my god, he's so lucky. He's so lucky. But maybe it was part of his plan. He's going to go over here, kill this villager. Little doink. Nice play. Hera's now thinking, you know, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. And Barles goes for his second TC. He drops a monastery. He's got some spears right now. And, you know, fishing ship count's still pretty good for Barles, but all that's about to change, guys. Hera will continue with his approach of focusing on water on this map. And now that the ships are upgraded, he's got ships coming in on both sides. And this is where the fish will die. Barles' hope was to focus on the fish. Didn't really pan out for him here. He's now shifting heavily towards land. It will be tough for him to afford certain things here. But he's got light cav. Hera does as well. And we'll see what Hera chooses to do with his docks. Because I think, like, the worst position you could have your Barles is not necessarily not having your own fish. It's allowing Hera to freely fish boom. So if you don't have any way of contesting water, it becomes problematic. Because Hera will go up to 15, 16, 17 fishing ships. Barles still holding, though. It's pretty decent. Especially if this demo lands. That's actually a huge demo. He will hold his fishing ships now. And he actually gets into Hera's base. And Hera has similar amounts of light cap, but this is pressure on Hera. It allows Barles to control the game a little bit. Barles on 2 TCs. Barles with a 3rd TC going up towards the middle. And, I mean, Hera's fishing ship count now starting to spike. We expected this. And we'll see if he can clear this up. It looks like he will. So, yeah. Now I, you know, using caster brain, have to go back to what I said before. I don't like the fact that Barles has seen Hera win twice in the previous rounds on this map and says, hey, let's pick it or allow it as a neutral map. It seems like Hera's really comfortable. Barles definitely tried some funky stuff thus far. He's not out of the game because he's starting to farm, but the lack of food eco is going to be ridiculous now compared to Hera. And it feels like Hera now, this is his sweet spot, and this is the type of position you'd expect him to win from. And it's not just rushing the TC and rushing the castle. It's getting to the TC and the castle with eco behind it. Right? Because it feels like anytime someone TCs or castles the middle without good food eco, they're just kind of stuck on like something low army, like maybe monks. Obviously, monks are not going to work too well against the light cav. We'll show res collected here. Hera's collected considerable amounts of resources compared to Barles. And this is why the guy walls up early, so he doesn't take damage on land, and he just plays the water. Plays the water into the land, and he doesn't have to worry. There's no potential threat that his opponent kills his fish, so he could just fish constantly. I think pretty soon Hera's going to drop a castle. I don't know if Barles has the means to stop this. He's trying what he can, but he's just at the limit with resources. And click the pikeman upgrade. The guy's got 22 food. He can't even afford the next spearman right now. Nothing to really stop Hera from building this castle unless Hera allows him to get conversions. I think Hera will just casually wait for this castle because I think he reads the situation well. Very easy to know what your opponent has too because the middle is always visible. So this TC in the middle for Barles isn't going to be it. He will want a castle of his own, but the castle from Hera is perfect because it denies almost all the gold. Maybe this tile can be taken. Barles is going to drop his own castle. But what it does not do is it does not take Hera off of gold. It would take Hera off of this gold. But we'll see if this castle even goes up. Hera's going to pounce here. Hera will kill the monks. And then the villagers will be exposed. And it's a little awkward right now for Hera, but he's got a massive eco lead. So he can toss away a couple units to deny this castle. And the GG's called. And that right there, it's just a map that you should never, ever, ever play Game 1 Titans League against Hera from here on out. He picked it as a home map before. It was a neutral map before, and that's 3-0 for Hera on this map. So 3 of his 5 wins in Titans League thus far on El Dorado. And an approach for him, it's not simple, but it is simply to focus on that fish eco, prioritize that over everything, and then with that, you dominate the rest of the game. Well played, Hera. He wins the first game. For Barles, he'll have a home map next, which will be Socotra. Doesn't technically have to go to Socotra. All games are played regardless. He could go to Costa Mountain, which is Hera's home map if he wants, but most likely it's going to be Socotra. And Hera overtakes Barls right now in the live standing, so he's got 5 wins. Barls still sitting at 4, hoping to keep it close. GG. All right, so here we are. Colors are really crazy. They've just started the game. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I guess purple and red's not that different. Hera's looking to lame here, guys. This is Barls' home map. He's gone for the Lithuanians. He brought in his elephant really early, and he's currently stealing Hera's elephant. Rule number 1 on Socotra. Take your elephant right away. I don't understand why players don't do it. Now let's see if Barls could keep this villager alive. Looks like he's going to take that elephant all the way home. The goal for Barls here against Hera is get 1 win. Get 1 freaking win. And he's going to get that elephant. So Hera's down food. And while Hera will have more villagers from being the Mayans, that is certainly not the start he was looking for. Am I crazy? Am I crazy? Why are we seeing players not take their elephant right away? I don't get it. Now Hera brought a villager forward with his eagle. And so, you know, he's done a good job to kill the ostrich, so the ostrich decays here. But so much extra food underneath that TC for Barls and Hera. He's got to be careful that his ostrich don't get lamed as well. Barls wants a messy game. I'm sure if Barls finds those ostrich, he will shoot them down. A better opening for Barls. This is Barls, who gets plus 100 food because of his civ, and then also gets the plus 400 food based on getting that elephant there. Yeah, Hera, you got to push in multi-ostrich if you can. Because these things are going to be shot down. So, this is a great start for Barls thus far. For Hera, he will struggle with res. I'll be clear. I usually do not like it when lames can have an effect on a game so considerably that it affects feudal age times and maybe affects the rest of the game. However, it's 1 elephant for both. And it's going to be a lame. It's Socotra. It's like, it falls into the realm of common sense for me. I just assume Hera was so focused on trying to lame, he forgot that he too could be lamed. But very resourceful start here from Hera. To go out here, still take this is good. Just because it's been killed there doesn't mean it's still not hundreds of food lying around. And I think saving grace for him will be that he can mill here. And then the ostrich are kind of close to the mill as well. Barl's kind of doing a similar thing here. And similar situation there. I feel like now maybe Barls will think about what he wants to do in feudal age. For Hera, I think he'll have to utilize some damage control. He's got really solid back gold. It's more so the berries for both players that seems to be an issue. And Mayan resources do last longer as well. Not to mention Hera's had the additional villagers. So all those things allow Hera to remain competitive with res collected. And res collected's pretty even thus far. Lithuanians are all about those power spikes, though. They have the potential with the additional 100 food, with like the faster working monasteries. They could work really well in the big moments in early feudal, early castle. Probably a big reason Barles has picked them here. Can you build on dead animals to remove them? No, you cannot do that. So they just always sit there. Otherwise, players would definitely build over them. Then laming would be too strong. Like, if Hera couldn't collect from this, he'd be Dark Age forever. And it might not look like he's got the food right now compared to Barles, but I think each of these villagers has around 25 to 30 food in their hands. So he's got 200 food in those villagers' hands right now. Actually, Capture Age can tell me, which is pretty cool. This is 220. But when there's only 1 elephant and he's lost 400 food and his opponent's received 400 food, it can be really tricky. And I'm real curious to see how Hera could get his way out of this one. Didn't Hera have the same issue on Fractal, where it was 1 elephant and he didn't take it? I'm trying to remember. I think so, and it was also against Lithuanians in his series against Andy. So, I don't know, like, maybe a little bit of stubbornness on Hera's part to just not take his elephant because he doesn't want his build order to be affected. But he saw it. It wasn't like it was hidden away. He had already walked forward. And Barles... He was playing the same game Hera was to run forward and lane. Barles just had the elephant underneath his TC. And Barles right now prepping for with some militia. This could be man-at-arms. This could be the 2 militia play into archers for him. And Hera's now going to wall up. Remember, like, it doesn't seem like it's a foregone conclusion that Hera's just going to win this group. Freakin' Andy is at the top before this series. Jordan's looking better. We've got Jordan and Freakin' Andy right after this, which would be really fun for the group. Barls came in tied with Hera in terms of total wins. And Barls looking for some damage here. Now, the third militia is on the way, which will mean he can apply a little bit more pressure. But he didn't have the gold right away to get Man-at-Arms. So a bit of a flawed build for Barls. Hera is going to have to fight this off with villagers. The scout for Barls is weak, but not weak enough where it can't contribute. This should, maybe could lead to a villager dying. Hera correctly decides to back away. And we do have the Man-at-Arm upgrade for Barls. He seems scared to engage before Man-at-Arms, though. Hera's just sitting here. You can see the confidence of the two players. Barls a little hesitant, having a lot of faith in Hera's ability to micro this back. And then Hera, not too concerned at all right now, as he's just 30 seconds away from Feudal Age. Burst Archer, actually Skirmisher, on the way for Barls. And now Man-at-Arm's going to be in. And now Hera could have a tough time here. Let's see how the micro goes. I mean, we've forgotten the Man-at-Arm on the mill over here for Barls. But the Skirmishers are here, meaning Hera going for some type of Archer opening could be really awkward. Hera's gone into farms behind this. He will have food there. He had a decent amount of food banked. He now has to abandon his mill, though. Pay attention to the macro for Barls. Is he farming? Is he getting eco upgrades? No eco upgrades because he wants to kill fast. He is farming, though. And yeah, the Hera's going to make some Eagle Scouts. And he'll eventually make Archers, but he stopped building his range, which is unintentional. He's misclicked due to the pressure here. So that range is at 100 HP. It's still not going up. I have to assume he knows this. This is like a really big error for Hera when you're already behind an army. The Barls is going to be through here pretty quickly if Hera's not careful. I think Hera will try and pick off any reinforcements with these Eagles, but Hera needs more house walls behind this. Hera just taking his time. 11 farms, though, for Barls. He's done a great job as well. He's about to be at around the same. And he's also mixing in Archers, which have a bit more potency against the Eagles. And a bit more potency against the Villagers in situations like this. If this was 3 Archers, Hera couldn't just sit here. But in my opinion, a near perfect start for Barls in this game on his home map. This is precisely what he would have wanted. Lots of pressure against Hera. Hera on the back foot. Hera still in a position with Archer Eagle and decent micro to be able to get himself out of this position, though. But Barls he hasn't gone with low confidence plays here. It's been full aggression this whole time. And I had even said with his draft, I thought it was really cool that he chose this. Because you might think this is a map that Hera does quite well on. And he said, yeah, but this is my type of map too. So let's not try and go for something that I wouldn't normally do just because I'm up against Hera here. Let's go for the kill. So Hera hasn't towered. He's trying to use his Archers right now against the Man-at-Arms. Because if the Man-at-Arms are out of the picture, then Eagle Archer feels a lot stronger. And Hera's getting fletching. Hera's going to be on 3 Archers, 4 Eagles. And slowly and surely, it feels like Hera might actually have the better army soon. Barl's defending very nicely behind this. But he has not been able to kill any of Hera's eco. And that farm eco for Hera is expansive. It's solid. His upgrades that are coming in are also going to be really good. Res collected this game. Hera's collected more resources. Not as much food, but has collected more resources. I think Barls must sense that this could get messy, especially when Hera's got that flag on the barracks. I think pretty soon, Barls might need to just back away. Think about a stable, maybe. But this map is oftentimes a map where you rush Castle Age, so I think he also is thinking he doesn't want to spend food on scouts right now. If anything, he might want to save the resources and head up towards Castle Age. 0-0 with the KD right now, guys. These skirms from Barls, let's see how much value he can get, because they're really speedy with the Lithuanians. So if you group them separately from the Archers, you could chase down the Archers like this, yes. This is really good positioning of his units. And Hera, with his tail between his legs, just runs back again to the TC. But it's good patient play from Hera here because, like, the Eagles take a long time to build up. Really feels like Barles will want these skirms to be killing archers right now. He hasn't been able to find an opportunity yet. I'm still a little shocked Hera's moved out. Let's see. I think Hera loses all of his archers if he moves out here. Like, he might end up killing the rest of the army, but he's taking a fight where he might end up losing most of his eagles and most of his archers here. It feels like Barles could have done a better job with killing the archers that were out here, but at the end of the day, the man-at-arms were weak earlier from Hera's snipes. And it's 5 to 6 KD, or 6 to 5, depending on how you look at it. Barles clicks up to Castle Age. Barles will want to go Knights. And Hera will have to be careful due to the TC fire from Barles. Backs away. Really good game here. And then we have a bit of stone mining for Barles. Is he going to go for a castle? Could see him going for Latus here instead of Knights, actually. This hill is asking for a castle. Yeah, seriously. But it wouldn't feel that natural to castle here. If anywhere, it'd be natural to cast directly between the players. Listen, what I would like to see right now, the Skirms have 1.06 movement speed. The Eagles have 1.1. The Skirms are not that much slower. So I would have liked to have seen a little bit more boldness there from Barles for the archers. But it doesn't seem like Hera's really committed towards the archers. Barles is walled up nicely. Barles is definitely going to plan for a castle. Guys, I think he's going to go, like, knight or two into a forward castle on Hera's face. It seems like that's going to be the play, right? Because the stable could be just for bloodlines for your latest. But because he'll be in Castle Age faster, I feel like just one knight and this army is enough to justify running forward. Hera's archers may be getting a little too crazy as he now backs away. So, honestly, a great recovery from Hera, considering the start, right? And maybe that's why he doesn't care about his elephants, because he could just recover anyways. Still do feel like his position would be even better had he not allowed the elephant to be stolen originally. Hera has 7 eagles. Some of them are in the barracks, some of them are in the TC. When he reaches Castle Age, he will get 7 base attack on those eagles. You don't need to get the Eagle Warrior upgrade. Here comes Barles. Barles is probably panicked. And he sees some of the eagles here. So he might feel like he's caught Hera out of position, but he doesn't have any upgrades on these knights. And Hera's eagles are fine. And oh god. Okay, Barles, wall in those vills. Barles, you've got to wall in the vills here, dude. You've got to do it. I don't fully understand the move if you're not walling in your villagers. Okay, that villager, they're exposed. Here, if he gets stone walls, he actually can get this castle up. He's going to get the castle up because Hera doesn't have archers anymore. That's not exactly true. Hera's 2 archers are actually on the way. And, oh, man, you could tell what Barles was thinking. The thinking was there, but Hera's eagles, they're able to get here in time. Okay, archers will get focused down. Range units all go down here for Barles. But, I mean, it's not like he really was going to get value from them anyways. And that castle will be in a position which makes life really awkward for Hera. Also, Latus, a great unit to make when you're up against eagles. We'll see now if Hera could find a way to break in. Hera's got 11 eagles right now. Hera's going to TC there. He's like, I need gold, thank you very much, because I'm going to run out of gold. Where do I go? This is Socotra. I'm going to TC there. Crazy. Crazy TC. I think it's too crazy. If Barles spots that, Barles will be all over this with maybe another castle. But then again, I mean, this isn't exactly that much nicer. Hera's about to have a monk pop from this monastery, and Barles has added a scout for that thing. As the Latus find a villager kill, and Hera can't move out with the monk now. Barles with nice house walling there. And he knows about that the monastery's a threat, and he knows it's a TC now. Kind of interesting is Barles will actually run out of stone, so he won't be able to, I mean, to my knowledge right now, oh no, he would need to mine this stone. If he mines that stone, he can get another castle. Honestly, Hera's conversions are the most important thing right now. And Barles is just waiting for these monks to pop. And Barles is going to mine that stone. Without the Scald Edition, Hera would have probably popped already. I'd like to even see another scalp, but food count isn't exactly high right now for Barls. He's slowly taking down the monastery, too. This is smart. He's like, come on, use him. Use him, bro. And Hera's going to force him to engage, and then he's going to pop out with the monks. But Barls should know this. Hera needs to pop out the monks somewhere where they're safe. And he does. And Barls goes for it. And Barls... he loses a knight. He doesn't kill a monk. That was horrible for Barls. That was not what he wanted. So, guys, you have a position to build a castle. Where do you build it if you're Barls? Do you build it at home to take Hera off of that gold? I love this. Hera doesn't have his monks at home, so try and punish him here. Main TC will go down for Hera here, too. So, villagers can't exactly hide in there for very long. And monks are slow. Barls with no relics, so he doesn't have any extra attack. But it's 13 base attack, plus these Latus ignore armor, and Barls with some great kills. Needs to preserve his Latus numbers. He's stuck right now. The pathing has been really awkward for him at times, but I think it's been because of his positioning. We complain about the pathing a lot in Age, but honestly, he just found himself in tough positions as Hera converts a Latus again. But Hera will find himself on just one TC here, guys. Mayan monks don't have any distinct bonuses, by the way. So it's not like Mayan monks are that special. But they're monks. And if he gets Sanctity, then his monks will be a bit stronger, which would be nice. Which he really needs to prioritize, I feel. You've got 9 range and can just switch a unit on the other side over to you in an instant. And it's just completely neutralizing the push on both sides as Hera gets another conversion. And players are so good with monks these days. They prioritize them almost every single game. Barles now wants to drop a castle, but like he's under pressure here. He just cannot advance forward against these monks. Now, where do you build the castle? He's going to make the castle there. It feels natural. Because you need to protect this area, and also you want to take Hera off of that gold. So Hera with the lead, in my opinion. But if Barles completes this castle... And there's still some question of whether or not that'll happen because monks are coming over. If Barles completes this castle, then Hera has to leave that gold. And then the only other gold Hera can take is this gold, which is really close to all of this. Now, Hera's going to try and break through. He's also converting as many villagers as he can. But Hera has to make sure his monks don't die to the castle fire. Because the first thing Barles will do is garrison his castle and fire the monks. Let's see if he can get a volley off. Nope. Great timing there from Hera. Over here, Hera lost a lot of his monks and some villagers as he was distracted. And Latus finding more kills and Barles with a villager lead. Hera could struggle here if this is the only gold he can take. Barles is actually... He's got this castle in a position where he has most of the stone on the map. The way this map plays out is you only have 4 tiles of stone per player. Hera already took 2. I forget where it was. I think it was here. And then it was 2, 2, 2. So Hera will be no TC gaming soon. Well, never mind. He'll make a new one. Hera is not going to have the golden come to make many more monks. I think here is where you go Lycav. Use your Latus in the main push, obviously. Like, try and get to this wood line from Hera. And Barles might not even know that Hera's there. You might think that that's not the case anymore, but... I think the Lycav upgrade would be amazing here for Barles. But you've got to keep Hera guessing. And here Hera's got a monk. Barles sees one monk. He'll gladly kill that one. Even if you lose it to a conversion, it's not too bad. And Hera trying to find an area he can attack something without being in range of a castle. Love the fact that Barles has fletching. I know he did it for his range units earlier, but... Guys, if Barles gets this win, tie series, and huge momentum for him off the back of this, because I think there could be some frustration for Hera as Hera loops through with the Eagles to find some villager kills. Barles is being so patient right now. Gets a conversion. Lycav just waiting in there. Lycav hop out. Lycav on the hill. Not a position you want to be in with your monks if you're Hera. It's such a weird spot, right? Because there's a castle right here. It's definitely worth it, though. You kill, like, 3 monks. And Hera's positioning isn't so good. Hera wants to drop a castle. I think, do you drop it here? Socotra's so crazy, man. This map is ridiculous. Another light cap pops out. Another light cap goes for kills. Hera's healing his monks. God, the fact that the monks heal each other so quickly, that is really part of the problem with these groups. I keep thinking more monks are going to die. Where do you castle if you're Hera? He's going to castle there. Okay, but Barles has enough for a castle too. And honestly, if Barles just castles here, Hera then doesn't have gold. Barles just castle. Yeah, that's actually perfect. In terms of denying Hera's gold, that's perfect. And I think you're seeing it now from Hera that he recognizes this could be rough. Like, go ahead. You can try and convert the villagers. That's pretty much all you can do, but that castle will go up unless Hera wants to sacrifice eagle numbers to castle fire. I think. I mean, I think. Light Cav coming through. Hera's monks don't have conversion juice anymore. But there's a castle. This is just Socotra. Hera's up to Imp. But he won't have gold. That's his Imp TC. Which I think he could keep up, but I'm not entirely sure. This is an amazing play from Barles. But amazing from Hera. And Hera is gonna... I mean, he's delayed the castle from going up. He's converted a lot of villagers. If only Barles could focus here right now. If only he could find that wood. I would love to see Barles make petards. Like, if he knew that Hera was imping, which he might because the score dipped, petards would be sick. And does he try and ram down the buildings? Does he try and ram down the TC? Does he try and... Like, what does he do here? He's not going to imp. He spent a lot of golds and a lot of food on this. On the latest. Hera does have 4 relics as well. I'm trying to find where he has the other 3. Oh, here, obviously. Okay. I'm going to assume Hera will realize that his TC needs to be repaired, and that he's not going to lose that. Barles converted a Vill in here. And Hera's currently thinking of pikes, but, like, Hera could lose 20 Vills back here. This could be really bad. And his houses, everything. Like, this could be really bad. He doesn't have his monks here yet. But Barles has to be careful that Hera doesn't get the monks over here. Like, I think this could be overextension if you're Barles. He's getting too excited. You should see the monks. Oh, God. Okay, well, go kill the monks then. If you're letting them get that close. Go kill the monks. Just go kill them, because it's going to be bad, but at least kill those things. Hera is going to have more latest than Barles if this continues, but Hera's going to lose all of his monks. Finally. Barles can kill those things. And actually, the latest that Hera had didn't have as many upgrades, and now all of Hera's eagles are going down, and Hera's TC is going to make it to the Imperial Age. But what's he going to make, guys? He's going to make a Treb. A Treb and Pikes. Now, latest, they can 1v1 a Pikeman, okay? They can. Especially with +2 attack right now. There's no armor yet, which is an issue. But if Barles just isn't wasteful, if he keeps his mass going, if he continues to make latest and just holds Hera back, he can win this. There's the fight. This is before Barles has researched any armor, though. There's bonus damage for Hera's units. This is so messy. And there's the Treb from Hera, which will slowly start to take down the castles from Barles. But Barles will have more. Hera's still chopping wood over here, by the way. Hera's got the food eco to make a bunch of pikemen. If he gets up to 30 pikes, I'm not sure Latest could do it. Oh, this is a wild game. Amazing game from both. It's wild that Hera hasn't been killed yet. It's wild that Barles still has a chance. Hera's going to try and snag that relic. It's actually really important here, right? For the gold, but also because of the... Whoa! For the golds, but also because of the relic situation with Lithuanians involved. I think Barles is going to be happy he took the Treb. But he still is not showing me enough army to maybe be able to push this, guys. He looks desperate at the moment. He only has 10 latest. Hera has 26 pikes. Hera still has a Treb. That's so many pikemen from Hera. He's got solid upgrades. This will not be good for Barles. And I think Barles has got to be like, are you kidding me? I dropped 3 castles here. And I still can't kill the guy. As long as Hera isn't wasteful with losing a trap. If Hera was wasteful with losing a trap, oh god, or both his traps, this could be brutal. Barles maybe sees it as his best opportunity. But at what cost, Barles? At what cost? You're in Castle Age. Your opponent still can make traps. Your opponent's just spending wood and food on pikes, and he has no answer to the pikes. So I know the score says otherwise right now. I know that Barles still has decent map control. But if Hera just continues to do the exact same thing, just pikes and traps, which he can afford to do, I don't see a world where Hera loses this game. The Vil count's not bad. He's got 4 relics. Barles is still stuck in castle. He's going to try and go skirms. But think about how far removed he is from even decent upgrades there. He needs bracer, he needs armor, he needs a couple more ranges. He's got the ranges now, actually. And maybe a combination of skirms could actually do it. Maybe I'm wrong. His castle will start to go down. Barles will then lose everything else soon, so he needs some type of an answer. He tried to convert a few pikemen, which he has done. Also pulls back to his castle fire, which is nice. Takes the engagement. Hera's losing lots of pikemen. Hera's trebs are still here, though. He will have 3 of them. Barles is going to have some big population problems here. Losing 3 castles like this, usually players don't have the houses for their population space. Did Hera lose all these vills? Hera did lose all those vills. Wow. Barles killed 37 vills. He only lost 6. But Hera's still got food, still got wood, still got gold. He's actually been mining this gold as well now. Barles, it's going to be his turn to not have a TC in a second. Will the 12 skirms be good enough? So normally what happens is if, in this matchup, if you switch into skirms then with Lithuanians, the Mayans would go eagles. Hera doesn't really have the position to go eagles though. So that is notable. Hera loses another treb. It's too expensive and too all in to try and get that treb. But I think Barles is doing it because it's bad. It's a bad spot to be in. Barles now has 1 Latus. And he's going to try with Castle Age skirmishers. And now Hera's starting to make those eagles. And, well, I mean, he does have enough eco for some eagles. And some eagles might actually be enough. And there's no counter to the eagles available for Barles because he doesn't have castles anymore. Obviously, no ballistics yet. Barles working on that. Score still tells him this game is really close. Because he's killed so much in this game. But the freaking Mayans, man. They just have this tendency to stay alive. And that fast in play from Hera was perfect. Hera goes in first with the eagles against the monks. So the eagles don't switch sides on him. Finds the kills. And yeah, I think this is where Barles has to tap. When you see your opponent's got eagles in the mix, you'll start to lose all your skirms. Oh! Oh my god, the timing on that. Hera saves his treb. And all the buildings are getting taken out. The skirms are backing away. Barles will now make knights. So that is going to be helpful against the eagles. But Hera will drop a TC here. Guys, like every inch of this map has been used. Every stone and gold pile has been touched. Feels like every tree has been utilized. Well, obviously not every tree, but you get my point. They've really been everywhere here. And this is a bounce back game from Hera. A bounce back series, let's say, after losing 2-1 against Andy. And not Ganji, sorry, Barles has to call the GG. And Hera's up 2-0 here. What a great game. That was so sick. You really could see the benefit of every decision that these players made. We got to see the downside of every decision that players made, right? Like, the downside initially was Hera didn't have his elephant. Should have probably had his elephant, had to fall back. Then he played into eagles, which obviously looked quite strong until the knights came out and the Latus came out. Hera was heavily reliant upon monks, which was a big part of this game for him. But then he ran out of gold because he lost map control against the castle drop. And, you know, for Barles, it really just came down to not getting damage in fast enough with the Latus. And Hera had so much time to stabilize his economy behind this. Like, Barles never really had the food eco Hera did. And I think that's telling when you have a unit in Latis, which is still pretty costly on food. So a Hera collect, and also the resources lasting longer for mines has to have helped here. And it's really tricky. When you go for the castle, your eco is normally going to be worse. Barles had 3. He had the right idea with Lightcav, but I think in the moments where he had Lightcav, he needed to have like 2 or 3 more and maybe clear out the monks a little bit faster. It was like Hera's engagements were just good enough. And Hera ends the game with 91 pop, wins the game in Imp against Castle Age Barles at 60 pop. Great game. The goal still, though, for Barles is just snag a win. You get 3-0'd, it's painful. Just snag a win here. You're at 5 wins after 3 rounds. That's not too bad. The downside, the struggle, obviously, is that this will be on Hera's home map next. Okay. So let's see how things play out here. Game number 3. And this is the first time Hera has played Costa Mountain this season. Costa Mountain was a map that was in tournaments before. I remember Hera used to always feel like taking the land control was more important than water. I've had a brief conversation with him recently about it as well. And I believe he feels the same. Hera hasn't even gone out for a dock, actually, at the start, which is very abnormal. Unless he wishes to go for the lumber camp and then, add the dock later on. But Barles has gone for the insta-dock approach. Remember, this is a nomad start. So you can decide what you want to do with your TC location. Almost everyone starts with the TC here, so you can get villagers faster. And almost everyone sends one of those vills over to dock as well. Persians with the plus 50 food and plus 50 wood at the start. Able to be pretty inventive here with their build order using the straggler trees. Now, here's the thing. This matchup's just horrible for Persians if this goes to Imp. Just horrible. Like, there is no chance for Persians against camel archers. I thought Running had a really good performance against Yo the other day. Yesterday, actually. And Yo showed, even being down 30 villagers, camel archers just destroy the Persians. It's just, I mean, to be fair, I think camel archers kind of destroy a lot of civs. Right? Like, there's not many civs that could deal with the camel archer. The camel archer is just a really good unit. But yeah, the only notable thing right now, though, in the start is Hera has not docked at all. I think that's taking a little bit too far. Because if you don't dock at all, your opponent could just fully fish boom. They don't have to have any worry that you have a dock up. So we could see a second dock and like 6, 7, 8 fishing ships from Barles. Now, honestly, as Barles is on 3 fishing ships now, I think Barles should not play water too heavily. And because he should expect that the Berber player will want to play land. Curious to see what he'll go for here. He's actually, I think he's in an awkward spot with his build. Because he needs a house now. But he needs the wood for a lumber camp. Like, guys, he's trying to click up to the next stage here at a fast uptime. But he can't do it until his lumber camp's completed. So he's going to have to add another vill here. I assume he just forgot. Look, he's going to try and click feudal. And it's going to be like, oh, crap. I can't do that yet. I need my lumber camp first. So his build is to clear up water. And honestly, he hasn't even scouted the fact that Hera isn't on water. I think if he scouts the shoreline and realizes Hera's not on water, it's fine. But would be pretty bad to go to gold, heavy on wood, designing to kill water that's not there. And Hera's just going to wall up. So he says, no fish for me. Let's simplify things. Barls. I mean, still right now, you don't really know if Hera's docked or not. You can't make the judgment call that he has not, based on what you've seen. So I'm excited to see if he's going to go to gold or not. Please douche in this map. No, I think TC dropping on this map would be horrible. A buddy of mine who you guys know thought that Veleza made his TC on the side because of the TC drop. I won't get into it too much, but I don't think it would be a successful strategy. It would be fun, though. It would be fun. There's a lot of potential downsides to it. There are some maps, though, where it could be really strong with Persians. Like, Fractal was perfect. I have a video on YouTube with it if you haven't seen that. It was Hart versus Mihai in gold. Fractal's perfect. Okay, so Barles now knows Hera's not on water. He goes for a barracks, and he's going to open with the stable. The Hera hasn't clicked up the feudal age yet. He's just playing safe. He's just going to wall up. And in terms of res collected right now, Barles is ahead. Barles also has fishing ships to bring in more food than Hera has coming in on water. Barles is also adding a fire galley, which might just be preventative, just so he could stop Hera from doing anything on water later. And he adds a stable. And, I mean, this is looking pretty crisp, pretty clean right now for Barles. And for Hera, Listen, I mean, he's the better player. 100%. But I would be lying to you if I didn't act like I had any questions over the build here. You can make it work if you full walls, right? But he will be giving up tons of map control for this. Tons. And maybe it's just because he feels that confident in the Civ matchup. Persians TCs, they do work a little bit faster starting in this age. And Barles, has he scouted much of Hera's base? He's just now scouting Hera's base. But also adding fishing ships. Again, I think you need to have the dock up so your opponent can't make fishing ships. Because Barles canceled his fire. Barles would make at least 2 to 3 fires before you would ever make more fish if your dock is up. And then you'd have your own fishing ships. That's my feeling on it. But right now, Hera's trying to get to Castle Age. Serenity says it's Barles' fault for picking Persians and nobody else's. Yeah, it's a little too judgmental. Persians is one of the best starts in this map, and he drafted Persians late because he prioritized the other 2 maps. Persians are top 6 on this map. They're just worse than Berbers, they're worse than Mongols, they're probably worse than Japanese. Persians are not a bad pick here. It's kind of hard to explain until you really like play the map and try to mess with the start, because the start's really tricky. But yeah, Persians are fantastic here. The scouts from Barles just attacking walls. Hera. He's even walling out Hunt. Like, he hasn't fought for map control at all. So his eco is going to be really tricky. And I don't think Hera will go Camel Archers in Castle Age really at all. This is probably just for camels to control the map. But it really just doesn't look smooth that much right now from Hera. He does prefer his farming eco long-term, though. He's a low-risk player. Hera, there's a hole here, so you need another house. He's added another house. Good stuff. Hera's now on his way to Castle Age. All right. I was only saying that in response to the complaints for Persians being weak generally. Yeah, but Persians are amazing on this map. Yeah, so maybe for the people who think Persians are really not a pick that makes sense here, Persians are amazing. This map is a boom map. You have the hybrid start. Your TCs work faster. Your dock has more HP. You can get the fishing ships out super early. You normally see stable units in the mid game. So yeah, Persians are really good here. It's just a really tough matchup if Hera gets the Camel Archer. But Hera maybe has cut too many corners here. We'll see. Res collected right now. Hera's 500 behind, and he doesn't have a single eco upgrade. There's a pause right now. Barles has walled up to the edge. Good work from him there. He knows his opponent has a stable and will probably make Knight or Camel. He's going to wall here as well, but I like how Barles has made use of the bonuses of his Civ. He'll click up the Castle Age later, which will mean that Hera will probably get the second town center a bit faster. But I think... it's really hard for me to judge right now, but I think Barles will have like 800 wood when he makes it to Castle Age. So he can go for so many different things. I think his eco is going to be really, really solid. But as Hera builds a market, because I think he's feeling his eco stretched a little too thin, this will probably go late game. Just simply due to the fact that Hera has walled up and played safe. There's Barles on the way up. He's up, what, 90 seconds later? Right now, he's still collected 500 more resources, but... I mean, the fishing ships, I've always said, are really inefficient on this map. I like this from Hera to add the scout, but I like the awareness from Barles to quick wall that. But the redock actually helps your current fishing ships become more efficient. I don't think Barles needs to add that many more. He just simply needs to sail them over here. The scouts, by the way, didn't get through. Hera cannot afford the Castle Age wood upgrade right now. He's buying tons of res, which to me is a sign that his eco is a bit imbalanced. So there's definitely finer ways to play Berbers. Drops the TC, though. We'll have that up before Barles will. Barles, I was way off on the 800 wood. My apologies. Barles is going to open camels. And Barles will drop the second TC here himself. Okay, so here's something Hera does a really good job at. That on hybrid maps, other players delay. And the timing is really tricky, but that's farms. So Hera has just basically said, yes, it's more optimal to have fish into farms. But it's hard to do that, and there's risks. And I don't want risks because this is a low-risk matchup for me. I feel like my civ's just better later on. So, Hera just farms. And Barles is now farming, right? Which is good, obviously. But it's like the timing on it. Can you do that with everything else combined? Not so easy. And scouts blocking from Barles. Just wants to kill the scout. There will be monks out there. And I like the play from Barles here to block. Does need to be careful with his camels because they could get converted. But then Hera has to be careful with his monks because they're scouts. Good work from Barles. Hera being hard to break. Surprise, surprise. And Barles, pretty good spot economically himself, though. Hera did snag one relic. I just want to keep checking res collected. Yeah, so Barles has more res collected because of this start. But Hera's approach is like, I'm not calling Hera Lowy the Legend, obviously, but if I were to give a tip to Lowy the Legend on how to play this, I would say pick one thing. Pick land and focus on it and go scout stable units and boom. Or pick water and go like heavy on water. Not both. It's just like a simplified approach. There's nothing like real fancy or crazy about it. And I think it's a matchup thing. Makes sense in this matchup. Scout goes down for Barles as he was looking for monks. Hera here looking for Barles' monk. Barles will know that. And Barles hasn't been able to do anything to break Hera's approach because the players are so far apart. And that's exactly what Hera wants here. And there's TC number 3 now for Barles. TC number 3 for Hera. Hera's will complete a bit faster. Both players have one relic. That camel just spun around in circles. Barles needs to delete that camel. He does. So, I mean, that's a small win for Hera as well, right? And normally, in a normal game like Arabia, as Barles gets a conversion there, and I'd even like to see the light cab upgrade, but normally, guys, you're seeing villagers go to stone around 60, 65 villagers if you want the castle before early in. So, like, actually, right now, based on this eco, Hera's going to do it now. Like, right now, he's going to send villagers to stone. Watch. He's going to have, like, 1 or 2 go to stone. Hera, do it now. Oh, man, I just wanted that moment, you know? If it's Yo, he's already got 3 on stone. Hera waiting a little bit more, I guess. So, this is what Barles wants. Of course, Barles is on stone now. I chose the wrong player. That's what it was. I think what Barles can do is I think you go, like, late Castle Age map control with camels, scouts. Hopefully, the engagements go well for you. And then, as Hera's going to lose a camel and lose the scout. That was a fast conversion for Barles and not a good engagement for Hera to take. Yeah, you do that into a forward castle here. And then Hera's going to have a castle around here. And then you just go crazy with Treps to take away the option for the camel archers. It actually makes a lot of sense what Hera's doing now. Hera realizes, I don't want to lose map control. And yeah, Berbers have cheaper camels, so he's going to add a second stable and think about adding more camels here. But again, res collected. Barles has maintained the 800 resources lead. And that's a nice little bit of momentum here. Like I said in this matchup when Yo and Running played, their monks are, like, these civilizations' monks are really bad. They're some of the worst monks in the game. They don't get sanctity. So hits from Lycav against these monks, they're going to kill monks very quickly. And Barles is going to see a monk. There's no way that monk survives. Doink and doink. It's dead. And we have husbandry for Hera. Still no Veils on Stone. He adds a third staple. Okay, so yeah. He's just thinking like full big Castle Age play for map control. And I think this will surprise Barles a little bit. But it makes sense. But I think, you know, you can't expect Hera to just sit back and give up the map control. If you feel like things are going well for you, something's going to surprise you soon. The weird thing, though, is that camels don't kill monks very quickly. So even without Sanctity, it's realistic that if Hera's engaging with only camels, that Barles could get a couple conversions. Hera's upgrades are coming in. Upgrades that Barles is not going for. Barles is going to bring Vils to the middle. Barles adding more farms. Obviously, tons of eco. I love the outposting here from Barles. Here's the monks. This is what we said earlier, right? Should still get conversions. Why is Hera moving out against monks when there's Lycav out here? What's happening? Horrible engagement for Hera. Maybe because he has the numbers, but he loses his monks as well. Maybe horrible's the wrong word, but I think that was good for Barles. He got 4 or 5 conversions. They both lost their monks. There were no conversions on camels from Hera that I could see. Hera now behind by 20 villagers, and again, he's going to try and fight, but that should be a conversion again. And Barles now has an idea that Hera's added a lot more camels. Barles has a 20 villager lead. Okay. This is where it gets tricky with your thought process, though. Because Barles, he'll really badly want to go pikes because he has Halb. But you can't go pikes too long if there's camel archers on the horizon. So then it's like, well, do I make camels against the guy who has cheaper camels? That's questionable, too. It's really tricky, but I think Barles is gonna kind of have his answer on what's possible here in a moment, because you can see Hera's making this TC. If Barles needed a sign to go for that forward castle as if he wasn't already thinking about it, this is his sign, that TC. He's added the racks in the middle, by the way. You got to push the mountain, dude. You got to push the mountain. Don't push anywhere else. He's going to wall this choke point up. He's going to click up here soon. He wants to castle the middle? Huh? Doesn't really suit the situation for me. That would be good if you wanted to maybe push this area. That's the farming eco. You need to push the stone and the gold, I think. Hera starts to take a fight. Here's the Wololos, backs away. And Hera will see Spearmen, so now he should be thinking, I need to go Camel Archers. Now, something that is important to remember as Hera runs over here to TC is that Berbers do get hand cannon. And I think in this instance, playing towards hand cannon is better than Camel Archer. Camel Archer is a better unit, like a way better unit, but you need the castles to produce out of it. Really curious to see how things are going to play out here for Barles. He's definitely going to open Halb. Hera doesn't have an answer to that right now. And I like the scouting from Barles on the coastline, but he doesn't know Hera's building that TC right now. He wants to go... Does he want to go Ram Halb? Ram Halb would be really sick here. Barles has had a great approach here, guys. He moves in with more monks than Hera has. He's got pikes prepared. Hera hasn't clicked Imp yet. Hera forgot his second building or something. What? He forgot to click. His camels are trapped. Okay, that was really weird. Pathing was awkward. Hera clicks Imp. Not in this TC, which I think we know could be trapped down. These TCs are still free-flowing for Hera. And then, of course, he has a TC down here. Great move. Barles not seeing that could pay off for Hera. Halb Ram is actually so good. Because there's no way you kill the Rams if you're Hera. First upgrade is Halb. We've got Rams on the way. Hera, is he going to drop ranges? Yeah, Hera's thinking hand cannons here. This is the correct response. It's really smart. And I like this. Speaking of smart, I like how both players have kind of walled that up. If this was Hera's MTC, he wouldn't make it to Imp. He's going to lose this whole area. This is crazy. Barles has played like a maniac. Barles is on 4 TCs. His start was incredible. His control over the map's been great. Capped Rams on the way. Won't have Siege Ram just yet, but choo-choo. Hera might even lose his university with a crucial chemistry timing here. Yeah, so turn it into a game where Camel Archers aren't a factor. And then you things could look pretty good. And there it is. We got more Halbs coming in. Hera's going to lose his TC. He's going to lose his Monastery. He's going to lose his Stables. He could lose units. Hera's still a minute away from the Imperial Age. And Hera has been behind since the start of this game. There has never been a point in which this felt like Hera had a lead. But it's the name that makes you think, well, he'll figure it out, right? Berbers and Camel Archers countering Persian? Psh. Barles says, screw that, man. My TC's been working faster. I've had the whole coast locked down. And good luck without a base. And again, I think Hera's going to click Chem. And if Barles sees the ranges here, he should deny chemistry. Obviously, he probably can't think about it like I can because I'm just casting. This isn't a really important moment for me. But, I mean, it seems logical. Obviously, go for the camel kills if you can find them. Kill villagers with the halbs if you can. Go for any kills you can go for. Hera's going for heavy camel still, which makes sense because he's made so many of them. But the pointy boys are here. The upgrades are in, and Siege Ram is 20 seconds off, in which the buildings will just melt so much faster. Barles also will know about Hera's castle here. So he might try and treb, but he will be trebbing up the hill. God, man, if Barles loses this game, it's because he allowed chemistry to complete, though. Seriously. Heavy Camel might not yet. An upgrade takes a very long time. It felt like an easy avenue to get this win by just denying the hand cannons from your opponent, which is so clearly the play right now. Heavy Camel upgrades on the way. I mean, Hera needs it. I know it doesn't really help right now, but you need to have some tools in your arsenal. Oh my god, and it was almost a doubt. Heavy Camel upgrade. Barles put himself in a weird spot, having to brush up this hill, but he's got all the momentum here. Hera's ranges are going down. He won't have many hand cannons. And Barles just shot out of a freaking cannon here in the Imperial Age here with the Persians. I love this. And I didn't really think about this. But this is Barles showing that it was possible. This was not a composition I thought about here. I thought heavy camel or paladin or trash bows, all of which I think would have died to what we thought was going to come. Obviously not a good day to be a Hera villager. You guys were safe before with all the walls, but you're getting destroyed now. Huge win for Barles if he can take this. Barles needs to close this out. He can take a win from Hera here. He'll have 5 wins after 3 rounds. This group and all the groups are just full of killers, man. He needs to continue to push here. And he's kept this castle up in that ram. Choo-choo! Hera's trying to block. He will lose 2 trebs. Oh, no. Disaster for Hera. Are you serious, Ram? Do you suck that much? Okay, the Rams are horrible versus trebs, apparently. But, wow. Guys, Hera still has hand cannons. Hera still has his hill. Barles is sending units this way. Barles could clear this out. That'd obviously be huge. He did notice that this is happening. But, you know, Hera gets up to like 20, 30 hand cannons. Suddenly, Barles is going to need something else. Hera isn't completely dead yet. And he has a tendency to stay alive when others can't. The halbs are going down to the castle fire. 20 units have died there already. The hand cannons are in a great position. It's kind of funny, though, that Hera's Treb is stuck. I mean, this is such a rough position for the guy. He's got, like, no gold. Hera trying to use villagers again versus Rams, and it's going to happen. Still lost 50 villagers, though. And I'm just, like, Barles... Right here, guys, he goes in with 5 Rams. This whole position is lost. That was a trickle situation because he's trying to focus on so many different things. I hope for Barles' sake that he's planning for the long term without this castle because right now it looks like he's going to lose it. Hera is backed against a freaking wall right now. There's 50 halbs for Barles, though. Barles, you're okay here, buddy. You've walled this. Okay, you've walled it. You can go elsewhere. You can breathe a little bit. Maybe just shift all those halbs over here for the time being. He's also going to go for Cavalier now. which makes sense if he has the gold for it. And there is gold to be found around. He just doesn't have a lot on gold on our screens. So Barles is going to shift over here where Hera's got the majority of his gold income, actually. And he'll bring a ram and he'll bring a treb. Obviously, the numbers of units not great, and Hera's starting to stabilize. And Hera needs to raid with the light cav to come back into this now. He needs to try and find avenues to raid while he's defending. And obviously needs to find a way to defend as well. Barles was so close to breaking Hera there. It's times like these that having ballistics on these castles are really important. And Hera will lose this castle. The villagers run away. Hera making... He saw it was Cavalier, so Hera's going to make camels again. However, the Cavalier from Barles are looking for kills on these hand cannons. And there goes Barles. Castle down for Hera. Hera 150 pop. And the Cavalier are fully upgraded. Obviously, they could go up to Paladin. But Hera's held on. Had he knock on hand cannons, he would have been dead here. Hera could also treb this castle down soon. Barles has clicked Paladin! Paladin with 11 units and 11 on gold. I actually think Barles could lose this game, guys. Like, this is... Your heart's racing right now, and you're like, how is he not dead yet? Can I actually lose this? And then you see Camel, like, oh, God. The lack of gold is the issue. If he could just build a mining camp with a bunch of these villas, have 30 on gold for a bit, then he can get, like, 30 Paladin with Halbs and Rams and Trebs and maybe do it. This TC's nice because it takes stone. This whole area is cleared up, so we can take that, which is great. But Hera's going to have an attempted pushback here, and it has to happen for Hera. Let's see if he can do it before the Paladin numbers rise more. Because the Halb numbers are just insane. Hand cannons are in there. Barles needs to be careful. Barles getting led into the darkness here by villagers. But he takes the engagement because he has the Halb number. He knows Paladin's got to be close. Is he going to take the fight anyways? I don't like it. It makes me uneasy. He's trying to get a better position. He's not finding it. This is not the time for the fight, Barles. This is the worst possible fight you could have taken. 50 Halbs down and your Cavalier directly before the Paladin upgrade. And still, he's in the better position to win this game, but he just... It's just the nerves. And the moment getting to a player, just... If he waits a moment more, I think he can actually take that fight. Hera able to choose the engagements because he's been the more defensive player here, right? All the engagements been coming right to his base. Hera has no choice, actually. He's got to take these fights. You can't be choosy. Feels very weird to me that Hera's choosing to go camel raid, but that could be really awkward to deal with if you're Barles. And Hera needs some type of raid. He needs some type of counter. I don't think Barles even noticed that, guys, because Barles is looking at the trebs that he is now sniping, the hand cannons that are now unprotected. He will lose the treb as well. The camels are going to find tons of kills, though. Both players taking losses. Meanwhile, Barles is castling in the south, and we are far from finishing this game. Hera's got 52 on food. Barles has got 40 on food, but Barles is about to fall behind in vills, and Hera calls the GG, just as we all expected. It was kind of a funny timing in terms of my cast, because, like, Hera's about to kill 20 more vills. So I'm really not expecting a GG there from Hera in that moment. But Barles gets the job done. He held here, and Hera knew in this moment that without the hand cannons and without access to gold, or a lot of gold, that he would lose all this eco. He was just like, this fight he would lose. And then he felt as though he would lose all this eco immediately after. And you just think of the control Hera had in the early game, right? He went full walls, no competition for water, really safe. You continue on further, still safe within his walls. Still safe within his walls. And it was confusing. Some people maybe thought, is this Masters of Arena 8? I didn't know that tournament was announced yet. But no, it's Costa Mountain. And he did try to take some good fights for map control, and he made a lot of camels. But, you know, Barles went into the Pike Ram. Pike Ram was sick. Pike Ram was sick. That was such a good move from Barles. I'm happy for Barles that he gets the win. I'm also really impressed with Hera's ability to survive, man. Like, I thought he was dead when the Ram push happened. And the fact that he still had a chance, I mean, I think he could have even continued to play on here. Maybe he didn't realize he was killing these vills, but, like, He probably still loses, but he still had gold, still had food. Like, his ability to stay alive in games is second to none these days, it feels like. And Barles wins a game, which makes this group interesting. We're going to look at the group results, and then the exciting thing too, guys, is that the very next series is Jordan up against freaking Andy in the same group. Also, the semi-exciting thing, because all of you guys really care about my reputation as first place with the predictions right now, is that I actually think I predicted 2-1 for Hera here as well. So that's good for your boy. Great KD for Hera. Just never really had map control. He was well behind with all these resources. So, you know, it was a home map pick for him. To me, it felt like the first time Hera has played this map this year, because I don't think it was in any other tournaments. I think the next time Hera plays this map, we'll see minor adjustments. He'll say, oh yeah, I learned this from losing that game. I could tweak that. And Barles had clearly played this quite a bit here. So practice definitely paid off there for Barles. And what an important victory for him, seriously, because the 3-0 would have really hurt his position. So let's just quickly look at that, right? Liquipedia is probably going to update for us. And we also have our Statifract sheet. Let's actually use the Statifract sheet because Liquipedia doesn't show the odds. Okay, so after that result, this is what the odds are looking like in the group. Okay, obviously before we see a lot of other sets played. But Barles goes up to 5 wins, which is what we go off of here. So he's just still 1 behind Hera. So potential to overtake Hera depending on what happens with Hera in his final 2 sets. So that's pretty close. Up next, we have 5-win Andy up against 3-win Jordan. And after that series happens, it feels like everyone's going to be a whole lot closer here. Because I still think I have Jordan as my favorite. So like a 2-1 is conceivable for Jordan, to where he's then tied with Barles, and then Andy's tied with Hera in this group. But very unlikely that Hera has any, real concerns about not being in playoffs at this point. I think especially because Hera will be playing Lan and be playing Ganji in his final sets, and those players have been struggling the most thus far. But not getting first place is a possibility for Hera. He could fall into the second or third place depending on how things play out.